paper 2, first of all, your static must be very thorough. So you know which is relevant where. So when some new issues comes to the picture, then you will be able to relate, as you said about anti-defection. So that is when you can relate which all parts and you can add up to that answer. There was a question in GS paper 2 about Attorney General, which came in last year. So we know about it, but I could not recall the exact article which talks about Attorney General. So as you said, sometimes it's unpredictable. You will not be able to write, because Attorney General, I could not recall that it was in the news that time or not. Regarding anything. So it's not always that there will be something in the news which will come down, but if it comes down, you should have all the correlations that anti-defection law, parliamentary secretaries, all these things should come into the answer when you are writing. So it will come when you have a very clear understanding of the basics. So I think when that is very strong, all these things naturally flow from your deep-seated knowledge.
Now, Muskan, what do you think? Using articles and amendment in the answer, would it be more helpful, or just going with the flow, like if you are not remembering, or if you are not quoting articles? What is your take on using articles and constitutional amendments and the doctrines in your answers? What is your view on this?
So it's great if we can use all those articles and amendments if we remember, but it's not every time possible to remember everything. So what we can do is, like ma'am said, we should have that basic knowledge, and that way we can connect our answer to the requirements of the question. Sometimes you may not remember, like for the Attorney General question, same went with me as well. I remembered very few things because I was not expecting in a 15-marker question. So that happened with me as well. I just wrote what I remembered. So that we have to do most of the time.
Okay. Now, one more question, which is, last year UPSC asked a question, and I'm predicting the question which is going to come for future, mains exam. Like this year, there are a lot of criticism about WHO's role. USA is putting allegation on China, and WHO is in the news. So last year, there is a question, if you remember, it is some USA's and Israel's putting out of some body, I think UNESCO. So that's why, how do you think that if some news are coming of such nature, which have a political implication of international nature, so how do students should come out? Like if some countries putting allegations, some countries defending. So as a balanced answer, Sanjit, I want to ask you, and Muskan, you both, how should one write in that direction so that the answer should not look biased towards USA or towards China? If I'm putting a straight question related to WHO.
So as you rightly said, I always say that when we are preparing, we are in the process of becoming an officer. So you always have to have a neutral, balanced viewpoint. That is very, very important. So when you start writing about WHO, if you have because WHO is in the news, so you should have a background of knowing what WHO has done till date. So when you see the background, you always write that, see, WHO, what all follies it did this time. That clearly everyone, it's out in the open, so we can write it in a balanced way that this is what happened. And then again we can write that when SARS broke out, it was the same WHO which worked day in and day out and made it that it worked wonder for the world then. During Ebola also there was some negative perception. So that is how when you follow a news, you should always go back about that organization, be it UNESCO. What all things has it done? It should not be that the UNESCO issue is there right now. So I'll only focus I'll just know where it was formed, where its headquarters was, and then I write about what the issues are. No, what all things UNESCO had done earlier, so that I can relate that what UNESCO or WHO is doing wrong now and how it can be improved. So basically the thing is, when you prepare for this examination, superficial knowledge is not going to help you. Dig deep. Dig deep, think about that WHO has been an organization for so many years. So if it has existed, it must have done something right, and it has done something wrong now. And how a way forward, put up a positive way forward that we are a global nation, globalization is on rise. So this organization has to stay. So end it in that balanced way, because think big, don't think local, think big. how you can represent it in that way. So I think that will work.
Very rightly pointed out.